All right, welcome to the reading of part 8 of World Within a World. And look how happy we are today because the new copy finally came in. This was the one I mentioned before that was on eBay from someone who inherited from his mother. And there's even some phone numbers in the back, but the whole book is here. So that means when I get to the end, I can read the whole book and look at the difference. See, this is the copy I've been reading out of. And just to show you how sad it was looking, see how damaged it got? And so, just to reiterate, it's a rare book on Earth, and I found a couple other copies online a little while ago that were both over $100. So see, I couldn't have even read. Look at all that. How sad. So anyway, well, see that? Oh, so there you have it. So today, and I'm almost kind of done reading the main body of the book, so because I have to hold the book up to my face, I'm going to start on page 73 and put the camera like right there. And keep going, and hopefully I made a playlist of these chapters as I go, so if anybody's following, I do put other videos in between, just uploading videos, so it's been a while since I've got to this, and much needed material to read. Okay, so here we go. Okay, this is January 13th, 1956. We have attempted to clarify the meaning of the auric being, for it is so frequently misunderstood and so often referred to as the soul or spirit within man. Such is not the case. Man's identity as a Christed being is formed through the auric manifestation. It is the linkage through the auric or transmitter of the radiations which causes him to become a spiritual being, a man of God, or the, quote, only begotten. We wish to make this statement very clear. The man Jesus, as he has told us in his own words, is not the only begotten. It is the Son of God, or the manifestation of the perfect man, which is the only begotten. It is and always will be the Spirit of God in action through the earthly vehicle, but there is a way by which it comes to know Source and to abide in it. That way is through the physical mortal being by means of its auric powers, or the degree of radiation of the light energies maintained by it. We realize that this statement will be questioned, refuted, and argued over by the various schools of religious teaching. But nevertheless, we bear witness to that which we have learned from the Master himself. His statements are that he came to possess his auric powers through many lifetimes of contacting the life-giving substance and through an adeptship of long standing. That is, he suffered in order to bring to man the understanding of his place in relation to the God of light, not in one manifestation alone, but in many. The one of which we have a record and in which he made the total transition, demonstrating as he did so the powers of the Son of God to summon the physical or mortal body to livingness after it had been pronounced dead, was the culmination of previous lives of study, meditation, and worship of the great overall radiance. January 20th, 1956. The auric being manifests that which an individual has developed in the rate of his vibrations throughout his life experiences. sorry. A babe in A babe in arms may have a more highly developed auric radiation than a grown man. The fully developed aura is the thing of beauty beyond our powers of expression. Few can stand in the presence of the holy ones who have developed such radiations, and few can sustain the proximity of such radiations. As man learns to absorb and assimilate the qualities of being, as they are represented through color tone into his auric vehicle, he becomes enlightened. His whole being is eventually irradiated, and he goes to work as a server of the light. It cannot be otherwise, for were he not to use the powers thus granted him, he would be destroyed by them. Second time it said that one, folks. Okay, January 27, 1956. It is essential that the auric radiation be understood and that the nature of the soul, or solar being, be given its due recognition. The auric being, developed to a high degree of radiation, reflects through the so-called physical body a rate of vibration which is disturbing to the cell life and often causes one or other of the various diseases known to man. This response generally precedes the union of the physical, mental, emotional body with the spiritual or solar manifestation. The man seems prone to illness, is tired, tense, nervous, overwrought by the demands of the higher self to make way for its entry in fullness through the mortal manifestation. It is then that the demands of the auric radiation become so great that the man or woman has no other recourse than to find the reason for this depletion and painful physical reaction. Such a one must use the forces evoked by continued search into cosmic realms and build a new body, one which will carry him or her anywhere into any fields of exploration without affecting his physical mortal being. We found that the related color tones in the auric reflection were the means of maintaining such balance, and that as we became overwrought and highly tense in our experiments, we would ease them by veiling our physical manifestation in a cloud of soft gray blue, that we could seek the peace of nature by invoking the soft shades of green so manifest in its many forms, that we could make our stand in strength by invoking the fundamental blue and resting upon it as a baby might rest on a down pillow. We found that the pearly pink shades were sweet, clean, and restful, that yellow in its spring flower colorings would make us joyful and tremendously free. February 3rd, 1956. We, of course, had not the problems of daily contact with the masses. We were alone in our underground cave for many days at a time. When we did see the light of day, it was for the most part in conditions of bitter cold, barren wastes, hard labor, and brutal supervision, so that our light could radiate only dimly and with little effect on those around us. However, it did preserve our body forms and finally became powerful enough to prevent us from having to follow the same hard schedule as these others. We were left more and more alone, considered queer and unearthly, and finally left to die of starvation. This we did not do, for by this time we had found that our sustenance came easily from the solar substance and that we could partake of it in many ways not known to man. We were refined to the fineness of a sharpened blade. Our physical forms became barely perceptible, but our color tone radiations were so potent that we could use them to make the many experiments which were a part of our daily practice. The thought of food was revolting to us after we found we could assimilate from the life-giving substances all that was needful for our nourishment. But we also found that all forms of life used the same process of assimilation of the etheric substance. If they were stunted or deformed, it was because the harmonizing quality of the solar substance, radiation, had not been absorbed. We found that, February 10th, 1956, we found that the color orange had a remarkable inner quality which is both uplifting and absorbing. It revealed within its radiations a potency which enabled us to open the walls of the earth around us. I have a story about that. Okay, we found that so much energy would be destructive were it not used in combination with the soothing, veiling flow of radiations. Orange, in the cosmic acceptance of the tone, may not be used in Earth man's present degree of consciousness without qualifying it by means of other radiations. Oh my God. Let me read that again for myself. Orange, in the cosmic acceptance of the tone, may not be used in Earth man's present degree of consciousness without qualifying it by means of other radiations. Okay, February 17, 1956. As we entered deep within the bowels of the earth, relics of ancient civilizations were found. Let me do that again. As we entered deep within the bowels of the earth, relics of ancient civilizations were found and, permeated by light, became alive for us. Buildings were wrought of indestructible material. They were revealed to us in jeweled colorings and stood forth against a background of color tone which indicated that they had been constructed by the same means by which we were able to observe them by a process unknown to man of this period. But great rulers of such civilizations were solar beings who could dwell in any sphere of existence, and once the earth had been a magnificent dwelling place for such as they, the fall of man became a living thing before our eyes, and we were able to envisage his past greatness and the descent of consciousness into material form, and hence into burial within that form until the time of resurrection. We could also see that these ancient lives were still potent and had a quality of livingness which must be restored to the earth which they cherished. From these discoveries, we were able to envision the, quote, new heaven and the new earth, unquote. We knew without a shadow of a doubt that the unveiling of the so-called past is a fundamental part of the future of man, that all things are one, ever existent in the records as they continually unroll. March 3rd, 1956. We began to use the powers which were inherent within our light radiations to enter the heart of the earth, there to find a remnant of a higher civilization than the present man of earth has known. We saw that which had been built by an architect of cosmic realms. We understood that man had descended from a point in consciousness much higher than he could now apprehend, and that from these remnants we were to learn how to build again. We knew that the humanity can only build what can be conceived in consciousness, that the radiations which made it possible for us to enter the heart of the earth and discover its former glories would help us to bring again an awareness of what has been lost like some long-forgotten memory. The same creative force would enable mankind to bring about a new incarnation upon the earth of men of power and men of light, wielders of eternal substance and creators of the dream vision in manifest form. And that'll be all for today. Thank you.